probably heard quite a bit about the Evergreen revenue model, and we talked about the Evergreen prospecting sequence and the event sequence. But one of the big pieces is once you attract leads, you generate prospects, you have the event, at some point, you have to make an offer. So today we're going to talk about the different elements that are required and that make up the Evergreen sales sequence. Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead and grab your pen, your notepad, and a glass of water because this is a working session. So we are going to dive deep and spend some time going through the different elements of the Evergreen sales sequence. And one of the reasons why I love the Evergreen sales sequence is because this is what generates the revenue. Write this down in your notes. No sales equals no business. We have to make sales, and there is an easier way. The Evergreen sales sequence is the #1 system that helps to produce and increase your revenue with no labor, 0% of your labor. And it's systemized, and we're going to walk through this process. So go ahead, grab your paper, turn it landscape because you're going to actually go through and draw out these boxes with me, and we're going to walk through this together. And as we're doing this, I want you to apply this to your business. So you may be wondering, all right, Dr. Nadia, who is this for? This is for the small business owner, the entrepreneur that knows that now is the time to increase that revenue, that we need to generate more sales, more revenue in our business, more income, and we haven't quite figured out how to do that without increasing our labor. And many times we're out looking for new leads or new prospects, and today I'm going to show you a way that you may be leaving money on the table simply by not taking advantage of and leveraging the different revenue opportunities that currently exist in your business with your existing customers. That's exciting. So if you're joining us online and you're not already headed over there, head on over to our private, exclusive, elusive Facebook group at www.virtualnetworkinglive.com. I want you to check in so that you can ask questions, you can make comments. I want to hear from you. So go ahead to virtualnetworkinglive.com. Go ahead and post your first name, your last name. Let me know you're out there, what business you're in. And as we do different exercises, I want to hear from you. I want to know, your different ideas because we're going to make this a fun, interactive working session today as we go through the Evergreen sales sequence. So one of the things about the Evergreen sales sequence that is so important to understand is that many times as entrepreneurs and business owners, we deal with this idea of rejection. And one of the sessions that I teach and I train on is rejection therapy, how to deal with no. We have that goal of 100 no's. We know that this journey to yes requires a no, and yet many times it's like, how many no's, Dr. Nadia, do you want me to get? Well, one of the things that we're going to look at in the Evergreen sales sequence is what if it was possible that you weren't the only person or always the one that had to hear no, right? I mean, we don't like to hear no. We want people to be excited to work with us. So we're going to talk about that today. So if you're looking for an easier way to serve your clients, to grow your business, increase your revenue, and to not always have to be on the receiving end of no, but also ways to actually follow up. We hear that saying, the fortune is in the follow-up, and yet how often do we follow up? And one of the things that we often ask is, all right, how much money or how much revenue have we left on the table simply because we didn't follow up? And I'm just like you. Just like you. There are many times when I look at my business or I talk to my mentor, and it's like, all right, Nadia, did you follow up? Did you touch base? Did you do this? Did you do that? So it's really important to understand there is no judgment here. We're going to go through this. I'll share some ideas. I'll share more about my story, about my experience. But if you're like, you know what, Dr. Nadia, enough is enough. This is the time for me to increase the revenue in my business. It doesn't have to be so complicated. We're going to make this happen. All right, so let's get started. So again, join me at virtualnetworkinglive.com. That's our private Facebook group. I have my phone. I'll be sure to check in with you. Let me know you're out there. Give me your first name, your last name, where you're from, the name of your company, brand, product, service that you're representing, and let me know that you're out there and we're working on this together. Also, if you haven't done so already, be sure to go ahead and grab a pen, a notepad, because you're going to draw this out. No cheat sheets today, and we're going to actually walk through this step by step by step. All right, are you ready to go? Let's go ahead and rock and roll. Okay, so an important piece to note, if you haven't figured it out already, is the Evergreen revenue model has different layers, different building blocks. So this is just one of the blocks of the overall Evergreen revenue model that we're talking about today. So one of the key pieces, and personally I'm a little biased, I think is one of the most important, not the only important one, but it's really important that we talk about this. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start at block number 1. So you should have 8 blocks across the top, and then I'll tell you when we actually branch off. So just 8 across. Trust me, I get that can sometimes be a challenge, but we'll get started. So block number 1 is square 1. We're going to write, start the Evergreen sales sequence. And with the Evergreen sales sequence, there are some important elements that you need. And these are some key pieces of information that you need in order to get this started. So we start the Evergreen sales sequence. You're probably like, okay, well, Dr. Nadia, how exactly do I get that started? Excellent, excellent question. So there are a couple things that you need to understand for this. You need to know, actually I'm going to write it here because this is something I want you to walk through with me, is you have to know your initial product. What is that initial offer that you have? And then you need to know your upsell, your downsell, and your high ticket appointment. And if you have room, if your box is big enough, you can actually squeeze that all in here. But I actually want you to just find a blank spot because let's walk through this. What does that look like? So I remember I started my business and people were like, you know what? Grab and create a product and you can sell it online and people will come and they will buy from you. Kind of, sort of, but not exactly. So here's the thing, though. When you are working with clients, many times, how many of you heard that clients just weren't able to afford working with you at that particular price point? And if you only have one option, what happens? They have nowhere to go. They have nowhere else to go. There's no other way for you to work with them. So I want you to start thinking about what is that initial product? What is that upsell? What is your downsell? What is your high ticket appointment? I was talking to one of my mentors recently, and he was actually sharing a story of one of his colleagues that asked the question, do you have a $60,000 product? Actually, no, I think the question was, what is your $60,000 product? And he was like, well, we don't have one. He's like, well, exactly. That's why you're not selling it. So I want you to start. It doesn't have to be 60,000. It could be 20. It could be 10, whatever you consider high ticket. But you have to start thinking about the different price points. We won't spend a lot of time there. But the part that I want you to really start thinking through is, what are those initial products? So we jump into things very quickly, and we don't think about what are all the other pieces to the puzzle. So let's go with an example. This is something that I made up, so just bear with me. Is what if your initial product was an academy? So you had a training academy or university. So this would be your digital university, your content where people could get access to training modules and they could go through this process, let's say, for over a year. And the price point for that was $9.97. And now, whatever your initial product, so your initial product or your entry point is, what is that product that invites people to take that step to start working with you? It could be an academy or digital university. It could be a book. It could be an event. Whatever that initial product is, I want you to write that down. This is part of the working session. So I'm just giving you some examples to show you the process, but what is that initial product? What is that thing that gets people to make a buying decision? Because there has to be an exchange. There has to be a monetary exchange to work with you. It doesn't have to be $1 million, but there has to be that exchange. So what is that entry level where people take their first step to work with you? I want you to write that down, whatever it is. And then I just want you to think about what would be the upsell. If they were to say yes to that, What could you then say? Well, you know what? If you like that, you're going to love this. Whatever that is, I want you to write it down. And if you're getting stuck and you're thinking, okay, Dr. Nadia, hold up, I'm a little confused here. Let's break this down. We're going to walk through this, but I want to give you an example. Think about going to the movies. You go to the movies, and guess what? You buy what? A movie ticket. We do the things legally around here. Yes, so we buy a movie ticket, we go into the theater legally, and we get in. And then what happens? We go to the concession stand. How many of you have gone to dinner before going to the movies and still once you start smelling the popcorn and seeing the candy, you're like, I just got to have something. So you go to the concession stand, and then many times we spend more money at the concession stand than we do on our movie ticket. How many times does that happen? So even when you're looking at your initial product, it doesn't necessarily have to be super profitable, but there has to be that exchange. And as you're looking at your upsell, downsell, it doesn't have to necessarily cost more, but it does need to be more profitable. And we'll talk through some of those details a little bit more. But as you're starting to think about it, you're like, oh, okay, Dr. Nadia. And here's the thing, and I want you to write this down in your notes. Your upsell, your downsell, and even your cross-sell, we won't talk much about that today, but any of those should enhance the customer's experience of their initial purchase. I'll say that one more time. Your upsell and your downsell should enhance the customer's experience, customer or client, of their initial purchase. Okay? So when you think about it, when we go to the movies, why do we get popcorn and jujubes or whatever it is that we get? I hardly ever get candy, but I like that big old jumbo size of popcorn with a lot of butter and it's all greasy and salty. That enhances my experience because I just feel like I'm having a good time when I'm sitting there at the movie theater and and I'm watching the movie and I'm eating all this popcorn. And then if I'm really just, excited and I feel like being super risque or super just being out there, I'll decide to get a soda and grab a drink and get a Coke or something like that. And I don't normally drink soda, so that for me is like, living on the wild side. I'm being a little dangerous when I get a Coke. And then so we'll do that. And then we go to the movie because that enhances my experience. Other people get candy, whatever the case may be. But we have that initial product, we have the upsell, we have the downsell, and we have our high ticket. So what I would like for you to do is to go ahead and actually identify these. And if you don't know what they are, you're like, Dr. Nadia, I don't have any. That's okay. That's okay. Because you will actually have an opportunity for us to sit down and chat about it. I was there. I was a one-hit wonder. If you couldn't afford whatever my initial product was, I had no other way to work with you. I had nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that's part of the challenge. We're having conversations with people and we're like, I don't know what to offer them. What does that conversation look like? So you know what? If you're sitting here, you're already on step one, like, Dr. Nadia, I need to talk to you. Let's talk. So I'm going to write a number up here, and I want you to text the word Evergreen Sales. Evergreen Sales. And you're going to text that to 202-270-1662. Include your first name, your last name, your email address, and your best contact number. Text Evergreen Sales to 202-270-1662. Include your first name, your last name, your email address, and your best contact number. Because here's the thing, I get it. And I want to walk through this with you and say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through this whole sequence. But if you don't have this, it makes the rest of this kind of not make much sense. So we have to get this right. So we have to almost kind of take a step back in order to move forward, right? So you're like, all right, Dr. Knight, we need to talk about this as we get ready to go through the rest of the sequence. Then I want you to go ahead and text Evergreen Sales to 202-270-1662. Include your first name, your last name, your email address, and your best contact number. And we'll talk through how to make this work for you. Okay, so the next step is we now know we started the sequence, we have our products, we have a plan, we have our roadmap, right? And so we're going to then, me and these markers, have our Evergreen sales page. they have to have a way to actually find out more information about the actual product. So on this page, there are certain things about this page that we're going to talk about. One is you have to have a CRM. You need to have a way to actually collect information. So they come to this page, they find out about my amazing academy for women, my sales academy for womenpreneurs, like, oh my gosh, a whole year we talk about all these things about rejection therapy and dealing with no and how we sell differently than men or whatever the case may be for you. And we go through that whole process and then, but they need to get the details, right? And here's the thing, they're here getting details from this page and getting information about this product or this amazing program or event, and I'm not there. 0% of my labor. I could be asleep. That's awesome. So they're here. The CRM is to actually gather their information. So it's actually a two-step process. And what we mean by that is they get information, and in order for them to proceed to the next step, guess what they have to do? There has to be an information exchange. So they have to give you their information, their name, their email, their phone number, whatever the case may be, and that goes into your CRM because that's going to be an important piece to this entire sequence, okay? Because we're going to have to set up our follow-ups, all right? So we have that going on, and then so we do not reveal the price. So on here, we don't reveal the price. My boxes are small. And we also will have our retargeting pixel, and I'll talk about that in a second. So there are a lot of things that are going on this page. So the page talks about your initial product or your entry-level product, and has everyone, those of you in the room, has everyone identified at least your entry level? We at least got one product, right? At least one? Okay. Woo, y'all are making me nervous. Everyone has at least one product. Cool beans. All right. So we have that, and this is what goes on this page, okay? Are we clear so far? Then we move to step 3. So at step 3, you'll have your Evergreen checkout. And at the checkout page, this is where dun, 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 the price is revealed. So you reveal the price. And you give them a way to actually pay you. So they enter their payment information. All right, so we have our initial product. Before they can proceed to the next step, they actually will have to enter their information. So they give us their name, their email address, they'll put that in there. We have a retargeting pixel also. So we're going to talk about that in just one second. But when they get to the checkout page, they find out how much it is. So whatever that price is, and you may have some payment options, whatever the case may be, that'll be here. They can enter their information. Well, they have some options, right? So here, they can get here, and there are a couple things they can say. They can say yes, or they can say no. And although they don't verbally say it, obviously, because you're not talking to them, those are the two options that they have. And so one of the things that we talk about in the rejection therapy training, and we're talking about our rejection diary and dealing with no, is that we understand that our journey to yes goes through no. So I'm going to draw a little mini, I hogged up the entire board. I'll draw it right up here. So just think about that. Your sales page is where they start. So this is their location. Getting them to actually say yes on your checkout page, that's your destination, right? Because the destination is yes. And quite a few people can hit this page because there are different strategies that we do to drive traffic to this page. So you have a whole lot of no's. And many times when we're in sales, sometimes we're actually having verbal conversations, but this is also a way, and I want you to think about this, because one of the things that happens even subconsciously when we're setting up our systems, if we're not careful, we allow that same headspace to come up around no. And so we feel that our responsibility is if they say no, then maybe they're not interested. And we don't have any way to follow up with them if they don't take that next step. And psychologically, we've already checked out. So we need to stay engaged. So that's why we have this system so that it'll continue to follow up with them. Because remember, 44% of salespeople give up after the first no. So if you give up after the first no, whether you're on conversations or even in your system, you can see you're leaving a whole lot of revenue on the table, because statistics also show that 80% of sales are closed after the fifth contact, the fifth conversation. You can see if you give up after the first one, how much revenue? How much revenue did you just leave on the table? That's a whole lot of money. So I want you to pay attention to that, because even though in this system, you're not necessarily talking to anyone, you've actually set it up. And you will not, if you're not careful, you'll set it up to be like, oh, they said no, we're done. It's over. And that's not true. So here's the thing. If they get to the checkout page, because they have options, and they look and they're like, I don't know about that, what we will do is we actually have some follow-up. So what will happen if they don't enter their credit card information? So technically they said no. It wasn't a verbal no, but they didn't take the action that was required in order to move them to yes. So clearly that was no. Yes, no, there is no maybe. So we come down to box 3A. So from 3, you'll just branch down. You'll go to 3A, and here we'll start our abandoned cart sequence. So here we're starting our abandoned cart sequence, because we're not giving up after the first no. We're not going to give up. And I get it. Many of us are dealing with rejection. We don't like the word no. And, you know, some of the statistics say that most of us would rather die than be rejected. So when we're setting up our system, we have to move past that. So we need at least 5 ways to follow up and continue to stay in front of the prospect until we get them to yes. Because they had some interest. They came to the sales page and like, this sounds good. They took the step. They actually entered the information, and then they went here. So there's some interest there. Are there some questions? So what we do here is we actually kick off an automated email sequence. And you could ask the question, well, I noticed that you went to the checkout page, but you didn't take action. Just call them out on it. Did you have questions? That's a logical question, right? Maybe there was some questions like, hey, I noticed you were checking out my page, but you ain't giving me your digits. Do you have questions? So you can start to do this. Because here's what I understand, and this is something I've learned even in my own business and then also at working with entrepreneurs, is one, we don't like rejection. We don't like dealing with no. I get that. And we have to deal with the emotions of it. But a lot of times what's going on in our head is so wrong. So I did a training one time, and I did this whole training. I had my call to action. I was launching this really cool program, and I was so excited about it. People went to the page, and I was like, hold up. What's going on? You know, people I didn't see the numbers in terms of conversions. They go to the page, they check things out, but I'm not seeing the conversions. And I called my coach, and I'm like, I don't understand. I did all this stuff. I did exactly what you told me to do, and things aren't working. So one thing we actually did, because this was a learning exercise for me, and I'm glad I did it, was I actually called the people that attended. Because I had their information, remember? They had to give me their info. Use it to your benefit. And I called them. And I was like, hey, you got questions? I know you were there. You know, and it's really good feedback. Maybe that the information I had was good. Maybe I gave a lot of information and they didn't need me anymore. Like, I just didn't know. And you don't know what you don't know, but you don't want to make assumptions. Do you know how many sales I got with the follow-up? And one lady in particular just completely blew my mind. One, she was shocked that I even reached out to her. She's like, oh my gosh, Dr. Nadia. And the second thing, she was like, I forget what her reason was, but it was not what I thought it was, because I was like, well, maybe they just don't want my program. Like, did you just call my baby ugly? Like, you don't want to, be a participant. And that wasn't the case at all. She actually gave me her credit card right over the phone. So how do you set up your follow-up? And clearly, as you continue to grow your business and do things, you don't have the time or the team necessarily to follow 18 million people, but it's a good exercise. So every now and then you do things. I would pick up the phone and talk to people, but that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about the automated sequence. So with this email sequence, you can have something that does something very similar. Was there an issue? Did you have questions? Was there a problem with the page? Because, sometimes technology chooses the absolute wrong time to start acting up. Whatever the case may be, you don't know. So you kick off this sequence to start that conversation, to continue, because you're still following up. You haven't given up. You set it off and you set it up. So this is systematized. So here's the cool thing. We're all headed to yes, right? Yes is where we're all headed. No is how we get there. Now we're going to change that a little bit. Yes is where we're all headed, but systems is how we get there. Can you imagine not having to do all that yourself? You have your page set up, it's all hooked up, you got your checkout page, and now people say no, they get an email. I noticed you were on my page, but you didn't give me your digits. Was there a problem? And it's not, being all in your face and aggressive, but it's like, did you have a problem? Did you have questions? And you can even include a link where they can actually set time with you to ask questions or if they need additional clarification. So you do that. And here's the thing with the retargeting. Now, one of my colleagues does an amazing job on the example for retargeting. I won't go there today, but I will say that the next step here is you actually also kick off your retargeting launch. So you remember over here in step 2, we had a retargeting pixel that we added to this page, and that's a block of code that's actually added to the sales page. And what happens is, anybody ever been to Amazon? We've been to the Amazon.com website, and we checked out some things. We're kind of doing our recon, and we don't purchase. Whatever the case may be, we don't purchase for whatever reason. We don't buy that item. And then later on, we head over to Facebook or social media, and we see that item following us around. It's showing up in our news feed. It's all on the side. It's like, dude, I cannot get away from this item. That's your retargeting. You're now that person. Oh, you were interested in my academy? You can't. So even here, because here's an option. They don't have to give you the information. They don't have to take the second step, but they still have some interest because they came to your page. So then here, if they don't take action, you go here and kick off your retargeting launch because you have that pixel and you're still following them. So even no action. Write this in your notes. Yes, no, no action, all require follow-up. Whether they say yes, whether they say no, or whether they take no action, it all requires follow-up. And by having this retargeting pixel, you're still following up. So they came to the page, they did not take action, so they didn't go through your two-step process, they didn't give you their information, so you can't do abandoned cart, but you can still follow them. Say, hello, remember me? Hi, I'm still here. Another good example is Disneyland. My niece, who is now 10, at the time she was around 3 or 4, and she was heading out. My family actually lives in Jacksonville, Florida, and they were heading out for the summer. So my mom loves to drive. I don't know why she does that. She loves to actually drive from Florida all the way to Arizona in the middle of the summer to hang out with us for usually about 2 weeks or so. So my niece and my mom came out, and I think that year they might have actually flown. I can't remember what year, but I do remember she was little, and we decided we're taking her to Disneyland. Like, I love being TT. I get to spoil the babies and then send them home to their parents. Love that. So this year we decided we're going to take Deja to Disneyland. And so what do? You start looking up information, how much are the tickets, what time does the park open, what's the address, all this kind of good stuff. But we hadn't made any decisions. We hadn't taken action. So we'd gone to the page, but we hadn't taken action because we were just gathering information. I cannot tell you. It seemed like everywhere I went, there was Mickey and Minnie and Goofy. Disneyland, everywhere. I would check my Hotmail. There they are. Hi, remember us? Disneyland. You haven't bought your tickets yet. Go on Facebook. Hello, and Mickey ears. That's going to be you. Imagine if you had that. Hello, you came to check out my page, and you didn't buy. I saw you on my page. And it's just that reminder. No. And you're just continuing to stay there, but it's all systematized. Have you done any work yet? No, you home chilling. You might be at the beach somewhere on vacation. Whatever the case may be, doesn't matter. The whole thing is now you have a system to take you through that, and you're not leaving revenue on the table because you're not assuming that just because I didn't take action today, because we eventually did buy Disneyland tickets. We really did. We went to Disneyland. We had a great time. It was fabulous, but it took a while. Continuing to have that reminder. And now you're able to leverage technology to really help grow your business and to increase your revenue. All right, any questions? Let me check the Facebook group as well. Or Lyric, are you on the Facebook group at all?
I'm getting ready to check for you, Dr. Nadi.
Thank you. You're so kind. You're so kind. All right, so while they're checking the Facebook group, so if you're not on our Facebook group or you have questions or you want to share your information, let me know you're out there. Head on over to virtualnetworkinglive.com. That's virtualnetworkinglive.com. Give me a shout out. Let me know I'm not up here just hanging out by myself. And give me your first name, your last name, where you're from, and tell me a little bit about your business, product, or service. All right. So now that we got the checkout page and we define that what happens when they say no or when they take no action, we have that defined. What happens if they say yes? I'm so glad you asked. They go to the thank you page. And they also get an upsell. All right. Remember your products? So here they actually said yes. They're like, yes, I absolutely would love to do that. That sounds amazing. They enter their credit card information. They give that to you. That goes automatically to your merchant account. So you wake up and you're like, guess what? You got money. That's amazing. I love that sound. And then it takes them automatically to thank you page. And on the thank you page, it thanks them for their purchase. It, lets them know, acknowledges that this is what you received, gives them a little bit more information, may tell them to actually check their email for additional details, especially if you had like a digital university, login information, all that good stuff. You'll get those details too. And you will also say, but wait, you might be interested in and whatever your upsell would be, okay? So when you think about, even like when you go to the cell phone store, how many of you have a cell phone? Anyone not have a cell phone? Right, we all have cell phones. And how many of you actually went to the store when you bought your cell phone, right? And then you saw all these additional accessories, because my cell phone didn't quite look like this when I purchased it, right? Right, and so you go and you buy your cell phone, and if you were easy, because I knew exactly what I wanted. So when we went to the cell phone store, so I have to tell you guys this story, funny story. About last year or so, I decided it was time for my husband Toby to upgrade because he his phone was old. It was pitiful. He couldn't get pictures or videos. It was a hot mess. And I was like, I'm done. I'm so done with having to share my phone because your phone isn't acting right. So we go to the store. And we decide, and I tell the manager, we're not leaving until he purchases. I already knew what I was getting. I already know what my upgrade was going to look like. He needs a new phone. So he's just trying to decide between the iPhone and the Samsung Galaxy. And he was looking at the 5S. And part of the upsell was like, well, if you get a 5S for this price, you could get a 6 for this, right? Or you can get the 6 this or the 6 Plus. Or if you get 16 megs, you can get 64. So you start to have that conversation. So anyway, you won't do all that on the page, but you get the point, the whole process, the thought process behind it. So then after you buy the phone, do they stop there? Did anyone ever have a salesperson that sold you a phone and they didn't ask you about 9 million more questions about stuff that you need, right? No, nobody. Nobody ever, because they've been trained. But how many of us have been trained that once someone buys from us, whatever that product was, we're done. We think we're done. My job here is done. You wanted my initial product. Life is good. Here you go. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, right? And we just send them on their merry way. Not anymore. Not anymore. Because we're going to learn some lessons from our cell phone salesmen. What do? They're like, oh, well, Miss Brown, Ms. Brown, now that you have these amazing phones that cost an arm and 2 legs, you might want some what? Some insurance. You're like, oh, I might need some insurance on this phone. It costs a lot of money, right? And what else? They don't stop there. How many of you said they didn't stop there? Whether I said yes or whether I said no. There were more questions. What else did they ask you? You might want a case, right? Nice case. Some of us have bedazzled. I see some pink cases out there. I see some wallet cases. Doesn't matter. There's a case. We have a case just for you. And they actually start selling you some of these accessories as soon as you walk in the store because they're right there. And you're like checking it. And they seem like it take forever to go find your phone in the back, right? You're like, y'all knew I was coming here about this phone. Why is it taking y'all so long? That's because they want to give you time to find your case. So when they ask, you already know. And don't worry, we got a special, right? We got a deal. It's a whole process. And you want to start thinking like, okay, what else really goes well with this? When we go to McDonald's and we only order a cheeseburger, what do they say? You want fries with that? And it's so natural. We need to have that same attitude. And then we're like, no, I don't want no fries. You want some ice cream? You want Diet Coke? You want to upsize that? Whatever the case may be. You can get a combo. They're like small, medium, large. You want to upsize? You want to supersize? I think we can't supersize anymore. Can't use that word, but we still supersize, trust me. So whatever the case may be, we're looking at the whole upsell. And how many of you are now starting to get some ideas around, okay, I need to step my game up because I don't have this. I don't know. What is all this? So we say thank you. We provide the upsell, whether it's the case, the screen protector, the case, the car charger, the Bluetooth. Like there's all this stuff. But they keep asking, no, thank you, I don't want a case, because I'm like, I saw one on Amazon. I was already on Amazon looking at cases, right? So whatever the case may be, they just keep asking. And eventually, like, okay, cool. Here's your purchase. You check out. So now they're here. They got their initial purchase. They purchased it. You said thank you. Thank you so much for purchasing with me. Here's what you received. And then you also offer them the opportunity to upsell, to upgrade, to get something else. And what did we talk about earlier? The upsell and the downsell enhance the client's experience with the entry-level product. So they need to match. Okay? So you think about that. So what happens if they say yes? If they say yes, I just dropped my phone. So glad I got some insurance with that. They go to the checkout page. They're like, yes, I want that. I want more of that in my life, Dr. Nadia. So they'll go to a checkout page. Now, here are a couple things that we also want to mention here. Is we now have another pixel here. So we actually have a conversion pixel here. So we are following them around because guess what? They still have the option to say yes, no, or take no action, right? Same process. So we have that here. That's if they say yes. And then, of course, that's if they purchase. So we reiterate their purchase, remind them of what they purchased, and we say thank you. So let's go down to 4A. Let's say, you know what, they're like, thank you, it's great, but I don't want to take that next step. So they said yes to your initial, but they said no to the upsell. Got it? Everybody on the same page? They said yes to your initial product, but they said no so far to the upsell. So then we come down here and we start in another abandoned cart sequence. And it's the same way here. They got here, they said no, abandoned cart. So we kick off another automated sequence because we're not taking no for an answer, right? I'm probably the only person in the world that can read that. That's just an automated email sequence that goes along with the abandoned cart. So they've abandoned the cart, and now we're going to continue that conversation. But we don't stop there. So there are a couple things, and this is where it gets interesting. So I hope you have your notes, and you probably should make your 4A box really big because we have a couple notes that we're going to have in there. So there are a couple things. Actually, that's not quite right. Forgive me. I got ahead of myself. Hope you have an eraser. All right. So if they say no to upsell, let's go back. Let me fix it. And they're like, nope, no, thank you. I don't want that. We don't want to assume that they're not interested. Sometimes they say no because that's not the right fit. But it doesn't mean that they're not interested in something else, even though they've already said yes to your initial product. So then what do? Oh, you didn't like that. Well, maybe you'll like this. So we actually take them to a downsell sales page that has a different product. All right. So here was our initial product. We offered that here. Here, once they took step one and they said yes to the initial, our entry-level product, because remember, our entry-level product is where they make that first step, that first buying decision that, yes, I want to work with you. I want to work with your company. I'm excited. This is great. And then once they say yes to that, they come here. It's a thank you page, and we offer them an upsell. They have the option to say yes or no, or what? No action. Question? Question on the floor. Go ahead.
So on the thank you page, offer our next level product for whatever they purchase. If that was the high product, we just move down to the next level.
So if they, from here, so what will happen is you'll have option boxes. You can say, all right, if you like that, click here to go to the upsell. Or if you're not interested, you can click here to say no. So we have to have an action to actually trigger that. If they don't take an action, then if no action is taken, because we have the pixel, it'll just launch a similar retargeting option for that. So once they say, no thank you, because you'll see that pop up, yes or no thanks. No thanks, just give me whatever it is that I want. Then it'll take them to the downsell. So now they have a different. So now you're giving them a different option to choose from. Because remember, we have options now. We're not just a one product wonder. We have some options. So now we'll give them the option to purchase a downsell. Similar to you don't want a case? You want a phone cover? You want the screen protector? You want insurance? You need headphones with that? So we'll come here, okay? Once we come here, they have additional options. No action, or yes. So it's the same when they're at the different checkout page. So now they're here and they get that information, and now they have the option to go ahead and they can say no action, or yes. So they can say, yeah, no thank you, I'm good, I don't want that either. Or they can say, they can do nothing, or they can say yes. If they say no, so if they click on no, not interested, no thank you, we take them to 4B. And 4B is an actual thank you page. Thank you so much for purchasing, because they did at least purchase what? So they get another thank you page, no problem, thank you. They get that thank you page, and then we also offer them a free gift, because we are part of what? The giver's economy. So we offer them a free gift, and then we invite them to tell a friend. So they came to the downsell sales page. They said no. They go to thank you. It's because they were thanking them for, one, just going through that whole sequence, but also they still purchase. So they did say yes to something. They just haven't said yes to everything, and that's okay. If they take no action, we do abandon cart. Because there may have been a reason. They got here, they didn't necessarily click no, they didn't take action, so they could have been interrupted. How many of us have been in the middle of doing something that you wanted to do and then you got interrupted? You're like, oh my gosh. Or technology or whatever the case may be. Something happened. We don't want to assume that it was just a straight out no because they weren't interested. So we'll do an abandoned cart, and we'll also do our retargeting pixels. So we'll do our launch our retargeting. So that's 4C. So there's no action, they come here to 4C. If there was a no, we say thank you, we offer them a free gift. If they tell a friend, so they share. And then if there's no action, they come here for the abandoned cart and we do the retargeting launch. Then if they say yes, they come to a checkout page. So they get another checkout page where they can enter additional, they'll enter their information again to actually pay for the actual down sale option. All right, any questions? Are we all there? Any questions from the Facebook group?
We don't have any questions, but we have some. Let me come a little closer. Okay, we don't have any questions, but Shauna Turner says she's getting some great ideas. She loves the environment, even though she's not in the room. She is online.
Hi, Shauna, thank you.
Says she is in the house today. Vanessa Collins says she just is online checking you out. She misses us. You know, and then I also want to kind of shout out Dawn Ferguson and Jamie
Timmons.
who have been here all 3 days, and I think Dawn was here before me.
And me.
And I was like, oh my God. She texted me like, what time do we start? And I said, is she there before me? But you know, you got to shout out those people that have been here all 3 days to get this dynamic training and still up front taking notes.
Yes, yes,
So,
very engaged. Thank you, Lyric. All right, so a couple things that I want to make note, because when we went to our initial sales page, we had a two-step process, right? Because we actually got some additional information. When we got to this sales page, we didn't need to do that. And the reason why is we already have the info. So you want to make doing business with you as simple as possible. So once you get the information, you don't need to keep asking for it. We ask for it again here because we just want to make sure that people are really on board when actually entering their billing information, which makes sense. So you want to do that. So I just wanted to point that out to you. All right, so we're going to come back to this in a second, but I actually want to take us through some of these pieces. But are we so far clear on the actual downsell? So we have the upsell option. If they say no to that, then we kick off the actual downsell. Are we good? We're good so far? Awesome. So now we come over here to the checkout page. And it's very similar. We're going through this entire process. And here's the thing. We're now setting this up that we haven't given up at the first no. Because yes is where we're all headed, but now not only is no how we get there, but our systems and our technology are helping us to get there too, because we have this all mapped out. And many of us are working to get to know. There are a lot of small business owners out there that are actually looking to get to yes, excuse me. Go through no, but we're looking to get to yes, but we don't have a roadmap, right? We haven't mapped this out. We don't have the roadmap. And how many of you have ever tried to go somewhere you didn't have directions? That was a hot mess. You have to know where you're going. And it's the same thing. You want to think through where you're taking your clients so that they're not confused. But you first have to take some time to actually map this out. And if you're like, Dr. Nadia, you know what, I'm going to need a little bit more help with that, or you want some assistance in really mapping all this out, setting up all these systems, then I want you to go ahead and text Evergreen Sales to 202-270-1662. Include your first name, your last name, your email address, and your best contact number so we can sit down and map this out for you. It's really fun for me. I'm having a blast. Anyone else having a good time? You're starting to get ideas. Like Shauna said, I'm starting to really think through, oh my gosh, there needs to be more to this. So now they come to this checkout page. They said yes to whatever your upsell offer is. And they come here and they enter their payment information. And I want you to think about this. This is happening really quick, right? Because they're on a page, they're looking at the information, they're like, yes, okay, I'm going to do that. They check out, they read this, so there are a lot of decisions that are being made in a very short amount of time. So you want to make sure, again, that your upsell, downsell, all of those match and that they go together, okay? So one of the things that we might add for the academy could be, you know what, our upsell offer might be if you're interested in being a part of our academy and spending some time with us over this year, going through our digital university, because that's our initial entry level to get some training over a year, then an upsell might be, I would love to come to your Sales for Womanpreneurs 2-day intensive, where we really get down. We're like, heck yeah, so I get to spend some time with Dr. Nadia, some other like-minded women, and we really get deep. So that could be, and I just want to throw out some ideas for those of you that are like, I don't have all that yet. So now I have an idea. So that could be an option, right? A downsell could be, because it needs to enhance. So it doesn't necessarily have to be sales related. So we may say, you know what, you're okay with sales, so you may not be interested in the intensive, and there could be a number of reasons why they're not, especially if it's an in-person event. Maybe those dates just don't work. Whatever the case may be, but our downsell may be our Facebook ads training. Like in order to have more sales, well, now that we have this awesome sales page, we need to figure out how to drive more traffic to this. That could be a reasonable option, right? So we could say we have this amazing video training series, right? And it's a Facebook ads. That seems relevant. That seems fair. So that could be our downsell. So you're starting to think through, okay, it could be this way, it could be that. It doesn't have to all look the same, but it needs to be complementary as you look at what works best for your company, okay? So I just want to throw some different ideas out there as you're starting to think through this entire system, because once you get it all set up, you're good. You're good to go. All right, so they enter their payment information. Again, they're left with a decision. Yes or no. So at the checkout page, if they say no, we're actually on step 5, so we're in box 5. If they say no, we're going to launch our abandoned cart sequence. So if they say no or they don't take any action, then we'll do that here. So we'll check in with them. We'll kick off another series. Some of you may be thinking, well, how do you know, Dr. Nadia? That's a great question. How do I know? So a couple things that happens on these checkout pages, and we have a couple of them. We have one there. We have another one somewhere down here. Is on this page, actually, let me not do that. That's confusing you, because that's not going there. So here, there's actually a program running in the background that says if they don't enter their information or take action in 30 minutes, that'll automatically kick off the sequence. So you'll have another email sequence that'll kick off that says, hey, hello, did you have any questions? Were you not interested? Is there something else? Do you want to talk to a member of our team? Because again, we don't know why they didn't take action, and we don't want to make the assumption that just because they didn't take action or they said no, that it's because they weren't interested. And we don't want to just end the conversation. Many of us feel that in order to hit our revenue goals, we need more clients. But for some of us, we just need to leverage the clients we already have. And it's kind of like those juicers. Have anyone seen those juicers? You have the manual one with the oranges. Because anyone into juicing? No, kind of, sort of. You have the manual one and you're doing the orange and it's still kind of juicy versus the electric one you put in there and it's like that thing is just like, I don't know, like rubber. It just sucks all the juice. You see the difference, right? You got a couple drops on this side and it's like a whole jug over here or so. So this is the same thing. You don't necessarily need more clients per se, but have you really leveraged the ones that you have? How many of us, when they said yes the first time, we never offered them anything else, another opportunity to work with us again? Be honest. I've done it. And I've done it, and then I've had people actually ask me, and then I was like, oh, because I was like, I don't know. I don't know where else I'm leading you. No roadmap. You have to have your roadmap. Where are you leading people? How can they work with you? Not everyone may be ready to be part of your $20,000 mastermind program or whatever your high ticket appointment. Some of us don't even have one. If I were to ask you, how many of you have a $20,000, $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 program, product, or service? Most of us would say, anybody? They're just checking. They're looking at me. Just so you guys know, they're looking at me like I have lost it. Trust me, I didn't put anything extra in my coffee this morning, but those are things that we need to start thinking about. Because there are those people out there who would love the opportunity to work with you at that level. But now you have your system, you have your roadmap, and you're getting all this in place. So once they say yes to that, they say, heck yeah. Not only did they like your initial, they liked your upsell too. So in my example, not only were they like, heck yeah, I want to be part of the academy and, go through this virtual training series for an entire year, but I also want to come spend 2 days with you, hanging out with you and learning more to go deeper with my sales. And that's just Nadia's example. That doesn't have to be yours. So then we come here to another thank you page. And on this thank you page, we include a personal video. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for, agreeing to work with me. I'm so excited that you have now done this and you're going to be you're coming to my intensive, or you're going to be part of our Sales for Womenpreneurs Academy, or whatever your entry-level product is. Super duper excited. I cannot wait to work with you. And our team is so excited to meet you, whatever the case may be. Here's the other piece that I want you to include in this personal video, and this is key. I want you to invite them to have a personal conversation with you. So you invite them to speak to you. I would love to meet with you, have a conversation. Let's sit down. I want to learn more about you and your business, because up to this point, this has all been automated. They haven't actually had any interaction with you. So you want to say thank you. You want to have that personal video ready to go, be excited, be bubbly, and invite them. I want to have a personal conversation with you. Now, really quickly, we're going to do the same thing if they say yes here. So if they actually take 2 buying decisions, so maybe they didn't like the option for the upsell, but when they went through the downsell, when they got here, they said yes. So if they said yes to your downsell, they actually draw a line back up to box 6, because we're going to also invite them to speak with us. Here's one of the #1 mistakes that we make as entrepreneurs. We think it's all about the dollar amount. So we're thinking that we should only invite them to speak with us so we can talk about our high ticket appointment if they purchase the upsell option. And that's not true. Just because they purchase a downsell, which may have been at a lower price point, it doesn't mean that they're not a good fit for your high ticket. They just might not have been interested in what you offered as your upsell. But they just made 2 buying decisions in a matter of minutes. So there's obviously some interest. When we're going through these sales pages, we don't tell many of you visit a page and it takes you 5 weeks to read it. That's not how we operate, right? We go, we check it out, we do. And so if this person is going through this sequence, I want you to think about the amount of time that they're making decisions. They're like, I like this. I'm excited. So those are what we call really hot leads, because they're interested and they're showing you, they're not prospects. They know that they want to work with you and they're interested. And you know what they bought. They bought this and they bought that, or they bought this and this, because your CRM, your database is gathering all this information for you. So when you come to that conversation, you know exactly what it is you're talking about. You have that information and they can schedule time to speak with you. So I want you to write that in your notes. It's not about the dollar amount. It's about the number of buying decisions. It's not about the dollar amount. It's about the number of buying decisions. And many times we get stuck around, can I afford it? Can they afford it? Or whatever the case may be. And it's not about the money. It's about them taking decisive action. They didn't get caught up in the land of what if. They got off the fence and they made some decisions, some really quick ones. So when you're thinking about that, and even if you had to go back out and grab them, right? Because you may have had to go through the sequence, and they clicked on an email, which got them back on track, back on the roadmap. Doesn't matter. They finally made the decisions, so they're here. So I want you to pay attention to that. Also, one thing down here, when they got to the checkout page, if for whatever reason they did not take action, because remember, they also have another yes, no. If they didn't, we would kick them back here. So then they would start an abandoned cart. So for whatever reason, if they didn't enter their information, we send them back to abandoned cart. If they didn't take action, then it kicks off the retargeting. So I want to make sure you get that. Questions? We all good? Awesome. All right. And this is the thing, as you're looking at this, you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. How many of you are excited about this? It's like, this is awesome. Like, this is amazing. I don't always have to be sitting here dealing with my nose, because you're dealing like tick, 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 no, no, yes, yes, yes. So, all right, so we're at our thank you page. We're all excited. I cannot wait to meet with you. I'm so excited. And I can't wait for you to go ahead and schedule an appointment. In this video, give them instructions. So on the next page, or over to the right, or whatever the case may be, you click the button below, and it'll take you to a page where you can schedule time to personally meet with you. And we'll spend a few minutes. I would love to learn more about you and your business and what it is, and I'm so excited to work with you. I can't wait to talk with you, okay? And that's going to lead them to box number 7, which is their appointment page. So here, you're taking them to an appointment page, and you want to have a way that they can automatically schedule an appointment with you. So you'll have an appointment setting system. That will allow the client to select a time. So they get access to your calendar. So you'll block off any times you aren't available. It automatically checks it, and now they have the opportunity to set an appointment with you for you to have a conversation with them. So just really quickly, we're going to back up a little bit and go through. So we started our sequence. We had to first identify our products. What were our offerings? Our entry-level product is that first step, that first commitment to working with us, whatever that price point may be. It doesn't have to be $1,000. It may only be $15. It could be a book. How many of you have written a book and you're like, you know what? Let that be the entry level. Whatever the case is, we just have to identify what it is. And then they come to our sales page. They go through the 2-step process. They give us their information, which then goes to our CRM. So we're gathering information on our prospects who we hope to turn into clients, because that's the process that we're going to. So remember, yes is our destination. Yes is where we're headed. We get to our checkout page, and then we kick off our different sequences. We're not giving up after the first no. And I want you to write that in your notes. I will not give up after the first no. Make that commitment. I will not give up after the first no. You don't get to give up after the second no either. Remember that 80% of your sales come after the what? The 5th one. You have to keep going. Keep going. And this is a great way to do it, because this hasn't given up after the first no. You have retargeting. So you notice that there are multiple points where we're adding conversion or retargeting pixels. So at different points through the process, we're not giving up and saying, well, you know what, they're not interested. We're coming back and saying, well, what about this? Remember this? I saw you on my page. I know you're interested. There's something going on. Something I said or did, there's a problem there, and I can help you solve it. So you may need to remind them, because a lot of times people are really struck by fear, and we're afraid to make that commitment. I want you to write this down. Find a spot to write it. 70% of purchasing decisions are made to solve a problem. So your products, programs, or services solve problems. So these are the things that are keeping people up at night. 70% of purchasing decisions are made to solve a problem. I'm having a problem. I need to fix it. That's why I'm on Google. That's why I'm on YouTube. How to do this, because I need to fix this. So you want to be able to leverage that. And so if they came here and they're looking, there's a problem, and you have the solution, you just may need to remind them of that. Don't go with the first no, because we don't know why. We don't know why they didn't take action. We don't know why they didn't say yes at the time. It could be, I left my wallet in the car. How many of you have left your purse or your wallet in the car? Like, oh crap, now I gotta go get my wallet, and then you forgot because now you gotta go cook dinner. We don't know. There's so many different reasons. So that's why we have now systems, because write this in your notes. Systems help keep us consistent. Systems help keep us consistent. Because we say we're going to be consistent, but we're not always consistent. Sometimes we make emotional decisions, or we don't do things because we don't feel like it. How many of us haven't made sales calls? We just didn't feel like it. We were afraid of rejection, or where we just, we came up with a million excuses. Guess what? This just works. It has no feelings. Doesn't matter. Prospect didn't enter their credit card information within 30 minutes for whatever reason. Guess what? It automatically kicks off the abandoned cart sequence, and it starts sending those emails and reaching out to them. They didn't take action, or they said no. Let's remind them when they go on Facebook or social media that, hello, you have a problem. I can help you solve it. That continual reminder. We're not giving up after the first no, because we don't know why they said no, and we can't assume that because they said no, they weren't interested, or they didn't need our help, or that we're not the perfect person, or we don't have the perfect product or service to solve their problem. So I want you to keep that in mind. All right, so they come to the thank you page, and they say yes. So if they say yes, they'll automatically go over here to make an appointment. If they don't take action here, so they don't click to go make an appointment, what do you think happens next? Any ideas? We've only done this like 6 times. I am clearly failing at this. I need to start. I'm just erase the board and start over. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Right. So then now we kick off the retargeting. It's like, hey, don't forget to come back and make your appointment. So it's for your appointment. Because they took action. So they took 2 actions, they made 2 buying decisions. They purchased the initial, and in this case, the upsell. So they made 2 buying decisions, and they came to the thank you page, and for whatever reason, don't assume it was because your video was whack. That's not the case, right? It was an amazing video, because we learned how to create amazing videos through the Video Boss Club, right? Like a boss. So your video was a bomb. But we're just going to kick off the retargeting, okay? And just remind them, hey, you know what? Come on back. Let's take some time and set that appointment, because I really, really, really like to talk to you. Facebook.
Yes.
Any questions?
First of all, I wanted to say, Natisha said the pixel. Is that where that goes?
Where?
Where we do the retargeting?
Yes. So on your great question, Natisha.
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 Oh, she's here in the audience.
Oh,
So I
awesome.
just wanted, she mentioned.
Awesome. I talked to her yesterday.
So I said, wait a minute. She mentioned the pixel, and I said, well, wait a minute. I need to figure out where the pixel goes. So, 'cause that's how you do the retargeting, right?
Right.
Okay, cool.
And we have multiple pixels. Great job. So here on this page, we had a pixel. So when they didn't take action, it kicked off the launch, right? You with me?
Yep.
Here, we'll have another pixel.
It's just like a pixel party.
It is.
Okay.
I probably should have numbered them, so forgive me. And then there's a different pixel. This is a thank you, because your pixels need to match the action. So they didn't take action here. So that means they didn't do the initial product. So now when you kick off your retargeting launch, you're reminding them about the initial, okay? So they need to match. So actually, let's put a 1 there. And then when they come here, we have a different pixel because they made 2 buying decisions, but they just didn't schedule an appointment. So now you're just reminding them, okay, hey, don't worry, come back, let's schedule an appointment. And you can also kick off a sequence. If they don't take action there.
Okay.
Oh, more?
Go ahead. Yeah, Doctor says she said no. She said, I will not, all caps, give up on my first no.
Thank you, Doctor.
She said not. And then no is all caps too. So I think she's kind of serious.
I think she's excited.
Right. She said 70% of purchasing decisions are made to solve
A problem.
So she's down with that. Roz, our girl Roz Warfield.
Yeah, hey, Roz.
Roz is in the house. She was like, flow-tabulous, a stage full of egos. And you know Stella Cobb is here, right?
Hey, Stella.
Stella Cobb is here. So, Martha Leftridge. She's in the house too.
Hi, Martha.
She said a start to another great day. So she was thanking Vanessa Collins for alerting her all the way in Gilbert, Arizona.
Yes.
So she was, Joan Cornerwoman Wilson is watching as well.
Hi, Joan.
So just wanted to, kind of acknowledge the people that are in our group tuning in.
Thank you. And if you're out there, you're like, what is this group that we're talking about? Head on over to virtualnetworkinglive.com and join the party. Be sure to include your first name, your last name. Let us know where you're from and tell us about your business, brand, or service. Again, that's virtualnetworkinglive.com. Head on over, post your questions, your comments, your ahas, your big takeaways. Are you still working on your products? Whatever the case may be, head on over there. I would love, love, love to hear from you. And if you're sitting there and you're like, Dr. Nadia, this is all amazing, but I need a roadmap. And I'm probably going to need more than about 90 minutes or so to pull together my roadmap. No worries. I would love to talk with you or have someone on our team speak with you. So if that is you and you want us to sit down and have a personal one-on-one conversation and put together your specific customized roadmap, great, no worries. Go ahead and text the word Evergreen Sales. That's Evergreen Sales to 202-270-1662. That's Evergreen Sales to 202-270-1662. Be sure to include your first name, your last name, your email address, and your best contact number. Again, that's your first name, your last name, your email address, and your best contact number. And either myself or someone on the team will be more than happy to sit down and talk about your customized roadmap to get your Evergreen sales sequence set up. All right, any other questions? We doing good? Good. Yes, I'm having fun. Anybody else having fun? Or am I the only nerd in the house? I'm like, whoa, I'm so excited. All right, so now we're at the appointment page. And again, this is all automated, so you need to have an appointment setting system, and we can definitely talk about what that system would look like, but they go to a page, and again, you may have a personalized message. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited that you're here. Can't wait to talk with you. You may even come up with some fancy name, like we're gonna have virtual coffee chat, whatever, it doesn't matter, we're gonna have an appointment. And the purpose of the appointment, let's talk about that for a second, is remember, they've made 2 buying decisions. So now we're looking at our high ticket items. These are your luxury items. These are maybe some of your customized solutions because all of these are more general. If you're going through an academy, this is content, but it's more general, right? We could take this training, we could record it, put it in a portal, people could come watch this, but it's more general. It's not customized to their specific situation. And I want you to write this down in your notes. The more access they get to you personally, to your brain, your expertise, all that knowledge, the more they have to pay. You don't get to sit down with me and spend a day with me and my team or 3 days or a week and get all this information. I put together a customized solution, or we set all these systems up for you for $49.99, $49.99. That's not how that works, okay? That's the baby step. Baby steps, generally you don't get any access to me at all. You get to take advantage of my system. I put together some amazing video trainings. You're going through my digital university, and you're still learning, and it's of value, but you're not getting access, okay? So as you look at how your business is set up, I want you to think about that your high-ticket appointment could be a lot of different things. High-ticket appointment in this example could be the Womanpreneur Retreat, right? We're going to go to France. We're going to spend a week. Like, that could be a high ticket, right? The ladies are like, woo, thank you, Dr. Nadia. Where we going? I want to go. High ticket, right? That is not going to be a $100 event. I'm just sorry. We're not going to France for $100. So think about what that looks like for you and your business, because that is when you're having this conversation. And remember, we're not going to assume that, I won't assume that the ladies that did not take advantage of the upsell, but they took advantage of the downsell, aren't interested in coming to France. I won't even assume that just because they didn't take advantage of either one, that they're not interested in coming to France. So at some point, my goal, if it makes sense, is to have that conversation and invite them to go to France, if that's the case, to come on a retreat. I love retreats, in case y'all hadn't noticed. And we love to do those and spend time together, but that's going to be high ticket, right? This is exclusive. It's luxury. When I do my retreats, it's on like 5 or 6 of us. It's, and it's all inclusive. We get pampered. We get massage. Like, you make it nice luxury, right? Okay? Somebody, a chauffeur comes and picks you up from the airport, your private chef. Think luxury. Now, yours may not be a retreat, but I'm throwing that out there because I want you to think luxury. Think high end. Think customization. Anything that's customized is more. Anything where they get a whole lot of access to you and your team and your expertise, whether that's coaching or whatever the case may be, it's more. So you start to think about that as you're mapping out your different products. And now you can see why you need this roadmap, because there are a lot of different decisions that you need to make, okay? All right, so they come to the appointment page. Again, they have the option to say what, yes or no. So if they come here and they say no, we'll just kick off our appointment follow-up sequence. Or because they abandoned the appointment page. And we'll kick off an automated email series to invite them or remind them to come on in and go back to the page, or we'll include the link actually in the email series to pull that together. So you can see there are a lot of little pieces also that go to this system. We got to have someone write out the emails and include the link, and what is that link to, and what is this, and oh, it has to have access to my calendar. But it's really good because once you get it set up, you're done. The Evergreen sales system is the only sales system that's set up to increase your sales and your revenue with 0% of your labor. The only one. Evergreen sales sequence. We pull this together. You have your system. You have your roadmap. And how many of you have yet to have to pick up the phone yet? You haven't called anybody. You're here. Think about it. You're here learning. You're at a conference, learning, getting information, and this could be taking place. And you could leave. How many of you would love to leave this event or log off your computer and check your email and see that you have several emails saying that you have money in your account? That would be nice, wouldn't it? And not only do I have money, because they paid twice before they even scheduled appointments. So not only do you have money, you also have appointments. That's exciting. And it allows you to free up your time, whether it's increasing your learning or spending more time with your family. Because how many of us started our businesses because we wanted more freedom? I don't have children, but I have nieces and nephews that I absolutely love to spoil. And so it would be fun to be able to go to Disney World with them. One year we took, at that time, I think we had 6. We took them all to Disney World. That's when we were in Florida. So some of them have been to both Disneyland in California and Disney World in Florida. So you can see TT and Uncle Toby love to spoil the babies. They are pretty rotten. All right, and being able to do that more because I'm not tied to a desk or I have to ask my boss to get days off. That's not a good reason necessarily to take the day off because I just want to go hang out with Mickey. I may not want to do that. So not only do you have the revenue, because some of us don't do it because we don't have the money. I don't have the money to do that, but now I have a system to help me do that, to increase the revenue in my business. I have a roadmap to be able to do that. I'm not always having to deal with no. Now, rejection therapy is important, and we definitely want to go through that process and increase our sales muscle, and it really comes because now we're actually going to talk to someone. But the good news is you've been able to generate revenue with 0% of your labor, and it's starting to have that system that's dealing with a lot of your no's even before you get there. So you're getting a whole lot more yeses without you having to actually be the one to hear no, okay? So now we're here, and if they don't take advantage of the appointment the first time around, we're not going to assume. Again, we have stopped making assumptions about what our prospects are thinking or how they're feeling. And we're going to go ahead and kick off that sequence to follow up with them and invite them, come on back, schedule an appointment with me. Don't be nervous, I don't bite, okay? And get that over to them, okay? And then the final piece to this, they set the appointment. Yes, so they've taken 2 buying actions. They've taken advantage of our initial or an entry-level product, and they've either taken advantage of our upsell or our downsell, which then gets them here. And then they said, yes, 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 I cannot wait, Dr. Nadia, to meet with you. I'm so excited. Are we going to France this year or Italy? I'm just kidding. But whatever that case may be, they set the appointment. They say, yes, I can't wait to talk with you. And then they go to a thank you page. One more thank you page. And on this thank you page, not only are we going to say thank you so much for scheduling an appointment, thank you so much for being excited about being a part of our organization, and our team is excited to work with you and taking advantage of all this amazing stuff, but we're also going to invite them to tell a friend. Don't keep this amazing information to yourself. How many times do we invite you to share and invite others to be a part of this? So we're going to invite them to tell a friend, and we're going to reward them for doing so. So with that, they get a free gift. So thank you so much. Would love for you to tell a friend about this amazing opportunity you just took advantage of. You just had the opportunity to share, and for doing so, you get these amazing gifts, these amazing bonuses for taking action. And we're going to come back down here to 4, because here, so they went through the full buying process here, and they also went through it here. So they did the downsell. Remember, they made 2 purchasing. Well, they did 2 purchasing, but here they said no, but they did say the 1. So even if they only made the 1 purchasing decision, we also had them here. So when they say thank you, tell a friend, or thank you, tell a friend here, we reward them for telling a friend and inviting them to be a part of this, to check it out. Check out this amazing academy for womanpreneurs, and we're going to learn about sales just for us ladies and how we do things. Right? And you're excited. We get excited. Like, ladies, we do a good job of sharing word of mouth. And so we invite our friend. We get an amazing gift. And it brings our friend back to the start. So then our friend starts here, and it takes them through that entire process, the entire sequence. Or their friends. So now your prospect has just shared it with their friends, and now their friends are going through this entire process. And now you have a team of ambassadors or even affiliates. So this will actually kick off your Evergreen sales affiliate sequence. We don't have time for that today, but just know you can now leverage your raving fans and reward them and invite them to share. Because we love to share. Most of us share for free. We're just like, girl, you better go check that out. How many of you told somebody about a sale or a pair of shoes or an event and that they had to invest, and you didn't even get paid for it, but you just believed in it? And you are providing value, because if we have a problem, chances are at least 1 or 2 of our friends or our clients, our colleagues are having a similar problem. Because as my granny would say, birds of a feather flock together. So you'll be able to invite them, but this is all automated. So now you've already increased not only your revenue, but you've reduced your labor even more, because now you have a whole team of folks out there who are your raving fans and who are so excited to tell other people about this product or service or program that you have to offer. And when they go there, this kicks off all over again for them. And can you start to see how your labor has been reduced and your bank account is increasing? Starts all over again. And this is your evergreen sales sequence. So if you're sitting there and you're like, okay, Dr. Nadia, that was a ton of information. I have a lot of questions specific to my business. And if you haven't noticed, I'm excited. I love this kind of stuff. And my team will tell you, get the calculator, because when you start talking about numbers, I'm your girl. Let's go ahead and map this out and really start to see how you can increase your revenue. And even if you had 10 people, let's just say, for grins and giggles, so we talked about calculators and money. Let's just say that I had 10 people. I had one person initially to go through this sequence. And they didn't even go all the way through. They only purchased my entry level at $9.97. It's the only thing they did. They didn't take advantage of the upsell. They didn't take advantage of the downsell, but they did share it with their friends. And 10 of their friends decided, you know what, that's the bomb.com. And even if none of them took advantage of any of the other stuff, they only did that one. How much money did we just generate? And we have the information, so we're still going to follow up. They didn't take it today, but that doesn't mean they won't take it tomorrow. And you can start to see that this starts to add up. And especially when you start to add the upsell, the downsell, the high ticket, like we just started cha-ching, 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 because our revenue is increasing, our labor hasn't increased, and now we're able to build our business, and now we have a roadmap in order to do it. So I want you to just think about this. Today is the day for you to make a decision. Because we as CEOs, as leaders, we have to make a decision. And you're going to make a decision. Am I going to continue to be lost in the wilderness? I've been there. I know what that's like. It's no fun, and it's no fun being lost and broke. Like, seriously, no fun. Or am I going to take the time to map out my roadmap? Because many times we need to stop, slow down, take a step back, map things out, and then hit the gas. And you can see that if you hit the gas with the right roadmap and you're not wandering around in circles and lost and having to stop and find the GPS and all this wonderful stuff, you will get there a lot faster, and you will also generate a lot more revenue in your business. So if you would love the opportunity for us to sit down and map this out and make this your own, because you may be sitting there thinking, I don't want to do a retreat, Dr. Nadia. You girls are crazy. But there are other things and other services that you provide, then go ahead and text the word Evergreen Sales to 202-270-1662. Include your first name, your last name, your email address, and your best contact number. Again, text the word Evergreen Sales to 202-270-1662. Include your first name, your last name, your email address, and your best contact number. And we'll sit down. We'll map this out for you. We'll look at the systems that you need to put in place, all the sequences that get kicked off. We'll talk more about these doggone conversion pixels. How many of those pixels do I need, Dr. Nadia? Don't worry. We'll talk about that. We'll get it all set up for you, and we'll work together to create your customized roadmap to increase your revenue without increasing your labor. There's no need for you to continue to be stuck. There's no need for you to continue to wander in the wilderness. You have help. You are here today for a reason, so take action. Before we wrap up, do we have any other comments or questions in the Facebook group? And if you're wondering what Facebook group, head on over to virtualnetworkinglive.com and you can post your question there. Include your first name, your last name, where you're from. Tell us a little bit about your business and be sure to ask your question. Again, that's virtualnetworkinglive.com. Be sure to enter your first name, your last name, where you're from, and any questions that you may have. And I think we're getting some questions. We're just getting mic'd up over here.
Okay.
My trusty assistant.
Look, I'm not really good at this admin piece of this thing. Let me create a video or something. You know, I got you. Let me create a video. We're good. So, checking in with the Facebook group is Dr. Trey. You know Dr. Trey has been with us for 2 whole days. Now, I don't know why she's at home today. You know we love her being here, but she says she's staying in the conversation on the bonus day with hashtag #SmallBizOnFleek. She says, take notes, be present, please look up and hit the share button and be a blessing.
Yes, share this out.
Dr. Trey,
Thank you.
Hired.
Thank you so much.
She says, go team PPI. She's on assignment, in alignment, and no confinement. That is Dr. Trey. Of course, Stella Cobb is like, thank you for the bonus day. Great job, Dr. Nadia. Roz, D. Wilkins.
Wilkins.
Yeah,
Hi,
let me
D.
stick to the videos, because I'm not getting this right. Carmen is, oh, yeah. Oh, she said, dang, she called me an old head, but that's good. She's good. Vicky, D. Wilkins, Carmen. Okay, Sunshine is here. Kat, Miss Bracy. Oh, we got a few checking in today.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. So as you can see, this is a roadmap. This is a way to finally add that additional system, that additional building block to the overall Evergreen revenue model. You've heard the team talk about it. What is this Evergreen revenue model? And there are building blocks to it. You have your Evergreen prospecting sequence. You're going to go out and attract those leads, generate those prospects, bring them in. And then you have the event sequence. You're going to have an event and training and webinar to get your brand out there and establish yourself as the expert. And then at some point, you're going to make an offer. Because remember, no sales equals no business. And when you make that offer, now you don't necessarily have to be the one out making all the phone calls and the follow-up calls, although those are very important, but now you have your secret weapon. You have a sequence in place, a system to help you get to your yes, your destination. Remember, yes is where we're all going. We're all headed to revenue. We're all headed to high revenue. We're all headed to serving others. No and systems and processes is how we get there. Today is your day to say no to being stuck, no to being lost, and taking full advantage of moving forward to generating more revenue in your business without increasing your labor. So if you know today is the day that you need to make that decision, that Dr. Nadia, we need to talk. We need to pull all these things together. I want to talk to you about all my initial product, my upsell, my downsell, my cross-sell, my high ticket. We need to talk about all that. And you want us to sit down and map out your specific roadmap to your yes. Then let's talk. So again, text the word Evergreen Sales to 202-270-1662. That's text the word Evergreen Sales to 202-270-1662. Include your first name, your last name, your email address, and your best contact number. And I look forward to working with you. I love working with entrepreneurs. I get excited when my clients reach out and they're like, Dr. Nadia, I got 6 no's, but I got some yeses. And some of them, leveraging different sequences, have actually been able to turn a no into a yes, because remember, we didn't stop after the first no. So it's not over. So I'm so excited that you took the pledge that you will no longer give up after the first no, and you're going to keep going. And now you have the opportunity to leverage your secret weapon. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've had an amazing time, and I hope you have too. I am Dr. Nadia, your champion for womanpreneurs. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.